How nice was it to come out and feel the ball and feel like the level was back to what we expect from you, and it was almost perfect at times?
Yeah, no, definitely a much better match today. Last match, I just tried to erase it. That's the beauty of this tournament and having a team that, Taylor and Christian gave me the chance to stay in the tournament and be able to prove myself better today. So
Coco Gauff just dragged Team USA into the semifinals and then did something almost unheard of in modern professional sports. She told the truth. No sugarcoating, no PR-friendly answers, no excuses. In a press conference that instantly caught the attention of the tennis world, Gauff openly admitted that one of her recent performances was among the worst matches of her entire career. She didn't talk around it. She didn't soften the language.
And like Stefanos' brother said, Coco did not play her best tennis in the previous round and struggled a lot with her serve, hitting a total of 14 double faults. But I had a feeling Coco would up her level in this match, and she definitely did that. When Coco is playing at or near her best, I imagine, I put myself in her opponent's shoes, it would just be hell being her opponent because she's so athletic, she gets everything back, and she just does not give you much of anything at all. And you have to win the point 3-4 times compared to against other players because she's such a great athlete. And if you're not on or if you're not consistent with your game against her, you're going to struggle. And Maria learned this the hard way, especially in those first 5 games. Now, make no mistake, Coco played great tennis in these games. Her forehand was forehanding. She was doing a great job of actually hitting through it and not pulling back off of it, and her on-the-run shots were great. It felt like everything she touched really turned to gold. That said, Sakkari was sloppy. She complained to her team, her coach Tom Hill namely, about the balls flying on her, and it was her first match in the United Cup this year, played earlier in the day. Those matches against Osaka and Raducanu were played more in the nighttime. So I think that Coco, although she struggled and lost that match against Buzas Pinheiro, her having that match in the daytime,
she owned it. And that honesty is what makes this story special. Because just days earlier, Gauff had suffered one of the strangest and most alarming losses we've seen from her in recent memory. Against world number 42 Jessica Buzas Pinheiro, she was dismantled 1-6, 6-7. It wasn't just the loss, it was how bad it looked. 14 double faults. Only 19% of second serve points won. Broken 9 times in 13 service games. Those aren't just bad numbers. Those are meltdown numbers, and when Gauff later called it one of the worst matches of her career, she wasn't exaggerating. She wasn't fishing for sympathy, she was being brutally honest. Most athletes would rather eat glass than publicly admit they played a garbage match. They blame the conditions, the schedule, the balls, the lighting, maybe hint at a minor injury, anything except saying, "Yeah, I was terrible." Gauff didn't do that. She went straight for herself. After her redemption win against Maria Sakkari, she said flat out that the Buzas Pinheiro match wasn't just a tough day, it was one of the worst performances she's ever had. That kind of honesty probably makes PR teams break out in cold sweats. But here's where the story flips. Instead of letting that loss spiral into a confidence crisis, Gauff used it as a reset. In the United Cup quarterfinal against Greece, she faced Maria Sakkari, a physical, aggressive player who thrives when opponents show weakness. This time, Gauff showed none. She won 6-3, 6-2 in a match that felt over almost as soon as it started. From the opening games, the difference was obvious. She wasn't tentative, she wasn't tight, she wasn't playing scared, she was aggressive, focused, confident. After the match, Gauff broke down exactly what changed, and again, she didn't hide behind cliches. She admitted that against Buzas Pinheiro, her mentality collapsed. She said she wasn't positive and negativity took over. Against Sakkari, she made a conscious decision to do the opposite. She aimed for bigger targets on her serve instead of guiding the ball in. She trusted her ground strokes and forced Sakkari to win points multiple times. She stopped playing not to lose and started playing to dominate. And the statistics back it up. Against Buzas Pinheiro, Gauff won 59% of first serve points and just 19% on second serve. Against Sakkari, those numbers jumped to 76% on first serve and 50% on second serve. Even more telling, she faced just one break point the entire match after being broken 9 times in her previous outing. That's not a minor adjustment. That's a full transformation. When Gauff is playing with confidence, she is an absolute nightmare matchup. She's one of the best athletes in the sport, she defends like a wall, and she forces opponents to win the same point 3 or 4 times. And Sakari learned that the hard way. Gauff's forehand was firing. She wasn't pulling off the shot. Her movement on the run was elite. Everything she touched seemed to land deep and heavy. To be fair, Sakari wasn't at her sharpest and struggled with the daytime conditions, but that doesn't take away from how dominant Gauff looked. In fact, Gauff's experience earlier in the day may have actually given her an edge. But the night wasn't over. After giving Team USA a 1-0 lead, Gauff had to come straight back out for mixed doubles alongside Christian Harrison, facing Sakari and Stefanos Tsitsipas. And because Taylor Fritz lost his singles match, everything came down to this. Win and the USA advances to the semifinals. Lose and they're going home. No pressure, especially for someone who had just called her previous match one of the worst of her career. The mixed doubles match was tense. Gauff and Harrison lost the first set, fought back to take the second, and then faced a match tiebreak where nerves could easily take over. But they didn't. They won 10-8, closing out a dramatic comeback and officially punching Team USA's ticket to the semifinals. This entire sequence raises a bigger question about honesty in sports. We're so used to canned answers that when an athlete tells the truth, it almost feels uncomfortable. Gauff could have easily downplayed the Booz's Monero loss. She even mentioned the sun being tricky. She could have blamed fatigue or said she was working through things. Instead, she owned everything. She admitted she was negative. She admitted she didn't adjust. She admitted she hit rock bottom. And there's something powerful and freeing about that level of transparency. At just 21 years old, Gauff already has multiple Grand Slam titles and has lived under intense scrutiny since she was a teenager. The serve has followed her like a shadow for years. When it's working, she's nearly unbeatable. When it breaks down, it can completely betray her. What makes Gauff different is that she doesn't pretend the issue doesn't exist. She talks about it openly. She explains how negativity creeps in and how she tries to fight it. When asked what changed with her serve, she didn't give a technical lecture. She said it was mentality, going for bigger targets and trusting that her ground game could carry her. That kind of self-awareness is rare. Now, as Team USA heads into the semifinals, possibly against Poland and Iga Swiatek, Gauff has already done the hardest part. She's faced her flaws publicly. She said the quiet part out loud. And once you've already admitted you hit rock bottom, what's left to fear? If she shows up with the confidence and serving mindset she had against Sakari, she can compete with anyone. If negativity creeps back in, the margin disappears. And Gauff herself has made it clear, the difference is mental. That's what makes this story bigger than one win or one loss. It's about accountability. It's about honesty. And it's about choosing to fight back when things fall apart.